Oh, whew. I was about to have to tell you guys something, but never mind. I'm not on that night, so I'm good.
Oh, I need Kyler Murray to give me some fantasy points.
Same.
Have to tell you guys something.
All right, we are officially live. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us this evening. Especially because it's during the Cowboys-Cardinals game. And I'm steadily... Oh, touchdown. There's points for me in my fantasy league.
Always
Waiting
good to see my Cardinals
for
win.
some viewers to get on. Gabriel Ruiz
John
said, "Start
Brown?
the video. I'm here now." Jeez.
There's Christian
Who
Kirk.
is she?
Christian Kirk.
Captain
Man.
Kirk. John Brown's in Buffalo, isn't he?
Yeah, I forgot. They wore the same number.
Hmm.
I remember because John Brown saved me one year.
He had a couple of. He would have a few games. Never here and there.
Kareem Hunt has done nothing for me 2 weeks in a row now. Thanks, Kareem.
Well, you guys ready to get this thing started? I think we got some people watching, so I'm ready if y'all are.
Good.
Matt Grieve, you ready? All right. Recording on this end, you're recording on your end. Let's get this party started. Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the AFC South Fan Battle podcast, sponsored by Sports Host. My name is Samantha Burnett. And joining us this evening for the Colts, we have Harish Nukala.
DeForest Buckner. The best defensive tackle in the division, don't it?
Well, okay. I'm not going to argue that one.
Yeah, there's
Joining
nothing
us-
to argue about.
Joining us for the Titans, we have John Ha.
I don't have anything cute to say.
Think of something.
It's good to be perfect.
Oh, that's
Would you rather have said nothing?
yes. At this point,
There
yes.
you go.
Joining us for the Texans, we have Matt Briggs.
Hashtag Eric Benenemy. Come on, let's go.
And joining us for the Jaguars, we have Matt Grieve.
I think you're mute there, Matt.
You were
I
muted,
was
Matt. So
muted.
try this
I
again.
thought it
Joining
was-
us for the Jaguars, we have Matt Grieve.
Josh Lambo / Allen.
Oh, I miss him. Well, guys, before we get started, I do want to mention our sponsors, Sports Host. We encourage you guys to join the app. They do have an internship right now, so anybody who is in school for marketing, especially if you're a sports fanatic, they do have an internship. Would look great on your resume. And you can find all of the information on the AFC South Fan Battle podcast page, as well as you can message me, Harish, or Matt to get more info. And starting next week, we're going to do something fun, a little different. We're going to be, it is sports fans from all around the world, so we're going to be bringing sports fanatics from all different professional teams from around the world to join Sam's Hot Seat, where we're basically going to take them and ask them about their team in whichever sport, which may be soccer, cricket, whatever, Australian football, and try to find out what their team is. For example, the Patriots or the Cowboys or whatever.
Sam, excuse me. I believe you meant football, not soccer.
Oh, excuse me. Well, I don't want to confuse our American
Please be
viewers since
correct.
most of them are American. But then we're going to ask them, something because most of the people coming on aren't going to know anything about the NFL. So we'll be asking them, what do you think tossing a pigskin is, and getting their responses. It's going to be pretty funny. So we'll have that going on starting next week. So we encourage you guys to
What
tune
the hell
in.
is Duval? Yeah, that's a good one.
What is Duval?
Yeah.
They'll be like,
Hey, we could start easy. We could ask them. We could start off easy and just say, "Hey, what are the numbers 1 and 6 mean to you?"
shut up, Harish. It's not nice. It's not very nice.
Just get it going, pretty quickly,
Well,
Gotta get people on
since you guys
toes.
are trolling, let's just go ahead and troll you back. I know this is the AFC South
Oh,
podcast.
wait, I know it's coming. Who's their one loss against? Is that what you were gonna say?
Oh, well, I mean that too. I say that every week. I can bring it up again if you want.
It actually doesn't bother me anymore.
Oh, okay.
Because there's more than one loss now, right?
Well, no, they're only
No, they still have one win. So
our one win is against the
Oh,
Colts.
right.
But I know we are an AFC South podcast, but I do want to mention the MLB.
Oh God.
Our
Here we go.
commentator Matt Briggs is a big Astros fan. Astros lost to Tampa Bay Saturday.
Get my trash cans out.
And
Yeah,
of course,
um,
Braves lost to the Dodgers last night. So World Series, we're going to be seeing Dodgers and Rays.
Look, you can try to troll me
First-
all you want, but we're 29-31. We weren't supposed to make the playoffs.
oh, here we go.
We didn't have our Cy Young winner. We didn't have our Rookie of the Year. We didn't have Osana.
They didn't even want us to be in the league this year.
They didn't. You can be honest. Nobody wanted us in the league this year. So we came and we did what we weren't supposed to do. Yeah, we lost. I'm still crying over it, but
I mean, you did what you weren't
Yeah,
supposed
we
to
definitely
do.
choked.
You did what you
What's
weren't
that?
supposed to do last year and win, but the only reason you did is because you cheated.
No, yeah, we just sucked
Here we go.
last year.
If you ain't cheating, you ain't winning.
Exactly.
That's not my saying, by the way. That's a Matt Briggs saying, because I don't
Yeah.
agree with that.
Look, I'm playing Monopoly. I'm beating the banker every time. Every time. I'm slipping me a $500 bill underneath the table. Nobody's looking. Every time.
Well, NFL news this week, there hasn't been a lot. Besides Tua got to make his first appearance in the NFL and toss a pigskin, as we would say, for the first time in the NFL. The Dolphins were up 24-0 versus the Jets last night, and he got to run in. It was kind of cool to see that. He was all excited. I'm sure that was a monumental moment for him.
I think the biggest thing from that was after the game. I don't know if anybody else saw the picture, but after the game, he went down there on the 50-yard line and just sat down and just got to enjoy the moment of his first start. So that was pretty. I you gotta commend him for that. That was pretty awesome.
Absolutely.
Especially if you don't know if he was going to ever play a football game with that after that injury. So
Yeah, and it's crazy that you say that. That's now like the second QB in a couple weeks that you got to see that good moment with. Right? I wasn't on last week, so I didn't get to talk about it. But the Alex Smith thing was amazing.
Oh yeah.
The amount of the surgeries, the rehabs, the misdiagnosis,
The almost dying part.
That was this.
all the nutty
The
parts,
Alex Smith moment was scary, is what it was. You
Right,
think it,
but then-
he gets crushed by Aaron Donald as to come back. That's horrible.
Yeah, but it's the journey back, right? And
Right.
that's why you feel bad for somebody like Dak, right? Dak
Right.
had to go. His adventure starts now. His future is uncertain, right? The Cowboys said they're gonna franchise tag him, but that doesn't do anything for him.
Didn't help him this year.
Yeah,
My only thing I have to say about the Alex Smith thing is what the dude went through. He deserves to see the field again. He deserves to be put in the Hall of Fame just for that. I mean, that's just amazing. Almost losing his life and then be able to play one more down is great.
Well, we're getting a lot of feedback already on this episode. One says, Samantha Wernette, give my boy Rick Jones, Toby, Gary, Bob, and Jamarcus a shout out, yo. Tighten up. I'm assuming that's the what did I used to call them? The 369 Mafia? 369 Mafia boys?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
The guys that I had Tommy Briley Photoshop me onto P Diddy's body and them on the girls from Making the Band or whatever. Yeah, that's what they said, Making the Band. And then somebody else said Ryan Tannehill equals Alex Smith 2.0.
No.
In what way?
Come on, Tessmer.
How did
I
they
don't
mean
know.
that?
And then there's a lot of FU Tessmers, so I'm assuming Tessmer's making people pretty mad in the group tonight.
Oh, it's a normal Tessmer thing to do.
He's been making them mad all week, which has been great. Let's give him a
Ever since his existence in the group, Tessmer has been pissing off Titans
Thank
fans,
you,
which is
Tessmer.
absolutely hilarious.
Well, another thing I want to mention, the Jaguars had a COVID scare. I was like, please don't let the game be canceled. Actually, I kind of wish it would have been canceled now, but
It's gonna say.
but there were some false positives in the NFL. Harish, why don't you elaborate on that?
Yeah, it kind of started with the Colts. I think it was Friday morning, early morning. So I got a chance to listen to Coach Reich talk, and he was saying about 5 a.m. on Friday morning, they got a call. Chris Ballard got a call and said that there were a couple people in the building that were positive. So what ended up happening, they shut down the facility just to be precautious. Everything was done over Zoom on Friday night. Wait. Friday.
So you're telling me that even though you might have a COVID positive, you didn't practice? You weren't like the Titans and still practice with COVID cases?
Correct. We shut down the entire facility. Like it was. That means it wasn't opened.
Wait, Mattis, weren't you the one who was like a proponent for cheating with your Astros? What is this now? Now you're against it?
Ooh.
I mean, guys, look, bang on the trash can or getting people COVID. I would bang the trash can instead of getting people COVID.
We only gave ourselves COVID.
Hello, this is not the How Do We Cheat show. This is the What's Going On with the Colts show right now. So, shh. Anyway, before I was rudely interrupted. So they shut down the building. They retested everybody, obviously. Now, just to be clear, there were no players initially reported to have COVID. It was all staff members. But to be precautious, they went back, closed down the facility, retested everybody, and lo and behold, tests came back negative. So I guess my confusion is now we've gotten – so that was the Falcons, it was the Colts. There are a couple other teams that were kind of swung into this.
I'm
trying to understand
– and the Jaguars, I believe.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand why – as big as the NFL is, why are these false positives occurring? It seems to only be an issue with the NFL. I don't remember the NBA having false positives. I don't remember Major League Baseball doing this.
I mean,
I guess that's where my confusion is.
This goes back
what are they doing?
This goes back to everything that's going on. I think different labs. It's kind of like different strokes for different folks, but different labs for different franchises, I guess. And if they're doing rapid tests, I mean, I know the Jaguars had to take a test because they didn't meet, and they had to take one on Saturday. I mean, it's going to be kind of, you know what I mean? It's not, as I would assume, I'm not, an epidemiologist, but I would assume that there's more room for error when you're pushing that, because these guys are getting tested every single day.
Right.
And it's not just hitting the NFL. Nick Saban, he had a false positive. And
that's what it was, yeah.
And they tested him 3 times just so he can coach. So, right. I mean, it's not just the NFL. It's like, what's going on? I'm with you. Like
Andrew Siciliano as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of it, right? I mean, obviously, it's kind of why. Like, what is the reason? And I guess we just don't know, right, the science behind it. What causes a false positive? Is it the testing? Is it does something happen in the lab when they wait for the results? What is it, right? So there's that. But luckily enough, thank you. Nobody ended up being positive. game continued on. And yeah, that's kind of where they stood. That's kind of what it was. It was really like a 10, 15-minute presser on Friday afternoon. Just kind of broke everything down.
I think the greatest part of the whole thing was that was Titans gold right there. Titans like, oh, y'all got COVID. And then as soon as it was false positives, it was fun. It was great.
It was a good time in the group, right? They were so excited.
Yeah.
They were so excited. As soon as the first report came out, there was so much excitement in Titans Nation. Oh, you guys got to suspend the season. And then lo and behold, an hour later, false positive. Rip Titans fans. Sorry, guys.
I was scared because I saw what having COVID did for my team and allowing us to beat the living crap out of the Bills and then, have a great game against Houston. So I was worried you guys were going to start getting it and start playing better, but fortunately not.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we didn't get a 2-week free vacation for breaking the rules. So
I mean, like I said on
maybe
the
we
last
should have done what y'all
podcast.
did.
Like I said on the last
better win.
podcast, I hate the Titans. We know this. This is common knowledge. I'm not a huge Titans fan, obviously, but that was a little extreme. And the whole time I was like, dude, if they were the rumors about some of the stuff they were gonna do, I'm like, if they crack down like this is gonna be like all they're doing is making an example out of them at this point, and it's a little much,
Yeah, I mean, I think some of it was nuts, right? Forfeiting of draft picks, the astronomical fines,
Matt, you work at a college. What's your standpoint on it?
What the punishment should be, or
with the whole COVID
the process,
false positives?
I don't know, man. That's getting more political. I think I think a lot of this and what's happening is more political than science. And that's just my opinion. I mean, I see here at the university, we have what we call clusters. I mean, they're popping up everywhere. It's just groups of people who are testing positive, and nothing's really happening. I mean, the numbers look high, but I mean, if we were to do this with the flu every year, would we be going crazy with the numbers as well? So I don't know. I think a lot of it's just political, but that's just me.
Is it? I mean, I think the whole political aspect is funny because I do think that they're not to get too far into this, right? I do think there is some aspect of that. Part of it is there's just too much. There's still too much unknown. The reason why we don't deal with this with the flu, I think the reason why we don't deal with this with the flu is because we've got something that says, hey, take this pill or whatever, stay your ass at home for a couple of days and it'll be fine, right? We don't have that yet for whatever.
Well, I think this was something that really there's no familiarity to COVID. I mean, the closest thing you relate it to is the flu. So when something new like this comes along, there isn't really like any kind of set go-to game plan for it. So until people kind of like get used to it or adjusted to it, or until something changes, I mean, we're always going to be a little more extra cautious until we're more settled into it. And
talking to a couple people that have actually gone through this, they say it's nothing like the flu. So that's the other thing that's really interesting.
But it affects people so differently. It has a wide range of effects. So
I mean, I've talked to people that just the flu. You'll get sick. You might feel a little lethargic. Get some body aches. There are people that's just like, I literally didn't want to get out of my bed. I couldn't, even if I wanted to.
I mean, I say political. I guess political correctness as well, not just politics. I think people are trying to. I think it's also a mixed bag of, like you said, we don't know what we're dealing with. We've got 6 months, 7, 8 months under our belt with this, so we're still trying to figure it out day to day. But I think a lot of it's just social politeness.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. No, for sure.
So
I don't know how much social politeness you can have. These dudes are wearing like wristbands that say who they came in contact with and stuff. It's like a Disney World fast pass that they're wearing, comes to
you got to use those fast pass for something. You can't go to Disney.
Fair enough.
Yeah, you can. You just gotta mask your children and wrangle.
Are they open down in?
Yes, they're open.
Florida?
You just gotta.
Wow.
Yeah, Disney's every. I mean,
you gotta wrangle your children, and even a 2-year-old has to wear a mask. It's ridiculous.
Right.
Like, yeah, sure. Let me fight a cat, scratching at me for 10 hours straight. But
So
I think what's probably so amazing to me is how different people are treating it from region to region. I mean, I read the Saints, the mayor in New Orleans is not allowing them to have fans in the dome. So the team's actually trying to go play at LSU's stadium because that's outside of the jurisdiction of the mayor in
oh wow.
Orleans. And
That's
so
interesting. I didn't know.
they want to get fans in the
that-
stands, and so they're knocking around the idea of possibly. I think they said in November is the earliest they could do. They could play a game with fans in the stands. They're willing to leave the Superdome to play on the grass field at LSU just to get fans in. And
Well,
so, I mean, here you have, two different scenarios on how people are reacting to the same thing. So,
well, and you got to think about
Well,
it. Right?
yeah,
Like,
that makes
they're
sense.
losing a lot of money. A lot.
Oh yeah, insane amounts. Insane.
So much money. I mean, you're
Well, that
losing.
makes sense that just because every state deals with it differently because they have somebody in charge in a different state and every leader is going to do something different depending on how they want to look. So yeah, I can understand what you mean by like political. So yeah, the teams can only do what their state restrictions allow them to do. So that's why everybody is a little different. That's why some people have them, some people don't.
And also, some states are worse off than others, right? There's still some
LA,
states
forget
that
about it.
Yeah, there's still some states that aren't anywhere close to being quote unquote out
So-
of the red. So
We had Sam's stalker, Josh Douglas, make a comment. It said, as they are talking about the Titans working out on a high school field, they let the Patriots play an actual effing game after Cam test positive. Get the F out of here. Titans didn't do shit. I mean, it's a
Wait.
It's a
What are you
different
talking
scenario.
about? Cam Newton had to miss a game.
Yeah.
Cam Newton had
Missed
to go
2
through
games.
his quarantine.
Yeah.
No, he missed
He
one.
missed- was
He
it
missed
just
two.
one? Okay.
He missed
Yeah,
one.
but
He
that's
just
what,
missed the
but
Chiefs
what
game.
he's saying is that they met at a high school to practice, and all these things happened, and they were rushing around and talking about finding him. But the Patriots starting quarterback got it, and they were just like, everybody kind of chill out.
But the thing wasn't the
Oh,
thing.
you're saying? Oh, I see what you're
Yeah.
saying.
But wasn't the thing that nobody else they tested
Yeah,
also
right.
had it?
Well, I think
Right.
and I think part of it is that there was no any sort of like indication that Cam Newton did anything that was against the rules. Whereas the Titans, it's and to be as fair to my team as possible. From what I understand, there was confusion of what they weren't allowed to do while the facility was shut down. Is what I think is what they were saying. So they went and practiced. The players thought that they got the okay to do it, which they didn't. So they did in fact break the rules, which they're claiming they had misinformation, but
Sure.
they did break the rules.
But
I'm just saying. Right.
Regardless of that, right? Real quick. Regardless of that, half the roster tested positive.
Exactly.
Right,
That's
yeah,
what I'm trying
yeah.
to say.
So why are
Right.
we
Well,
comparing
'cause
it
they're
to the
only-
Patriots?
Well, yeah, and but the thing is, what the Cam Newton was is that he didn't do anything that was out of bounds, and that's why nobody's getting mad at Cam Newton. And that's why people are mad at the Titans is because they did do something that was not okay within the rules. Where Cam Newton, as far as we know,
Yeah.
didn't. Any of the teams that have tested positive, as far as we know, they've been following the instructions and the protocols.
See, with the Titans, they kept getting COVID.
Right.
Yeah.
The Patriots only got
They
Cam
did.
Newton and Stephon Gilmore. That was it. It was done. So, I mean, to compare the two, the
Yeah,
Patriots,
it's
the
not a
Patriots
comparison.
did what they were supposed to. They said,
And
"Oh,
then
you got COVID. Bye, Cam." And
And then
they lost.
of course you jump on the bandwagon of, well, yeah, not only did half the players test positive, you also have this thing going on where they're still testing positive and then they're going off site to go practice. Whether it's a miscommunication or not, you can't do anything but tie the two together until
Whatever
you know
it
the real
takes,
facts,
whatever it
right?
takes to put off that Pittsburgh game as long as possible. Let's do
Hey,
it.
6 more days until we can finally play a real
I know.
team.
Yeah,
I'm so excited.
we're gonna lose. Oh, we're gonna get killed.
We
Well,
had 2
speaking-
weeks to prepare for the Bills. So.
Speaking of losing and getting killed,
Can't talk about that. Oh, yeah, not talk about me.
no.
Can't relate.
You
Well,
can't?
for 3 quarters,
Not this
I
week.
can't relate.
But speaking of losing and getting killed, Matt Grief. Listen. Todd Clary's been on here for the past couple weeks, and he makes a good point because he says everybody keeps saying tanking for Trevor, tanking for Trevor. But tanking insinuates that you're purposely trying to lose when we're actually just kind of terrible. Then Doug Marrone, oh, not we, I'm sorry, I'm the non-biased host. The Jaguars are just kind of terrible. And then Doug Marrone comes out and says that as long as he has a job, Todd Wash has a job with the Jaguars. So
Is that the DC?
yes.
Oh, God.
So
Sorry.
I want you to, yeah, thanks. Matt, elaborate on that statement first from Doug Marrone and with the Todd Wash situation, and then can you go into game stats? Because I really, really want to hear your thoughts on the Todd Wash situation. Somebody did mention on one of the forums maybe they should have Keenan McCardell as interim head coach, and I would not be mad about that, but go ahead.
I wouldn't want to do that to Keenan.
That's great.
No.
Sorry, touchdown.
The whole Todd Wash thing, it's interesting because you go a few years back when we went to the AFC Championship. I mean, they were talking halfway near the end of the year that he's gonna, after this year he's gonna go get a head coaching job because he's doing so well. And here we are a few years later where we think the coach is crazy for trying to keep the same guy. For me personally, I mean, I thought it was interesting that he would be so bold to say that publicly. I mean, I could see him saying that behind doors, but Doug Marrone is known to be very transparent and honest in his news briefings, at least in Jacksonville. And so I believe him. I also believe he doesn't have a job for very much longer. So
I was going to say, do you even think Doug Marrone cares anymore? Like, he's just going to say all the obnoxious stuff he can at this point.
I mean, I think he cares, and I think it's hard for him to see how well the Bills are doing after he dipped on them a couple years back. But I don't know.
Dude, he literally, when they did a press conference the day after Bill O'Brien was released with Doug Marrone, and he cares because he literally looked like he was about to cry talking about Bill O'Brien being fired. It's like, man, it's my best friend, He's not even like a friend, he's more like a brother, and he looked like he was about to start crying talking about Bill O'Brien. So you could tell he's like kind of like living vicariously through him, like, oh man, I'm next.
My prediction by week 12 he's gone. I think week 12 he
Doug?
He gets the
I don't know.
What is y'all's bye week? Did it already happen?
I think it's week 8 or 9.
Okay.
I
could be
one
of
sweet spots.
8. Yeah, week 8.
Yeah.
Week 8, yeah, sweet spot. But I think that would be the case if Gruden is willing to step in as the interim or even possibly permanently. But as far as tanking, coming into the season, I thought we were. I even in the podcast, I said we'll either go 9-7, 8-8. If you just look at what we did last year, and I felt like we made improvements. With the offensive coordinator, we have another year with our quarterback. Boy, was I wrong. But I think that's mostly because, and I kind of, at this point, I mean, we're only 4 games in the season. I don't want to say they purposefully built the roster the way they did, but if you look at this roster, I mean, after you leave the starting line or the starting players, I mean, who are these people that are playing behind our starters? I mean, they're just picking these people up off the street, and they, did they purposefully build the roster that way? I mean, we have zero depth. I mean, the 5 of us could go in there and probably, get one of their positions.
Yeah, that's.
I feel like they could call me to kick at this point, maybe.
Yeah,
that's what it felt like when Peyton and Andrew were our quarterbacks. Basically, you have those 2 guys. Yeah, like 3 or 4 guys after that, but zero depth behind it. So if anybody goes down, it's like, oh yeah, who's Billy Bob Joe here? Never heard of him.
And I'm not a fan of the tanking idea, but I mean, if you look at a lot of these franchises who have, excellent quarterback play, like a great quarterback, I mean, a great quarterback can make up for a lot of deficiency in other positions.
Exactly. Yep.
And so I'd rather have that. And I think, Minshew is still young in his career and really in his life. I don't think he has that greatness. And when I say greatness, I'm talking about top 5 season in every season. And I think that's what we really need. That's what we're missing. Because, I mean, you saw we had an elite defense. We've never had an elite offense, really, not since Burnell. But
well, you mentioned Gardner Minshew being young, but, I mean, really the entire team is young. And
it is.
It seems to be the common theme, like, for the most part, it'd be, where are the Jaguars headed? Where are the Jaguars headed? And the common theme now seems to be that the Jaguars, even though it looks terrible right now, the Jaguars are headed in the right direction. So there is some optimism there. Which we're the youngest team in the NFL.
Yeah.
But
I think
give us a synopsis of the Lions game. What happened to the run defense?
the run defense.
Like, what happened to our team? Period.
I didn't think we had a run defense. I don't have much to say about it. I guess that's what I have to say. And that's been the case, the past 4 games, I guess. That was a tough game to watch. Even with Minshew, most of the games this season you can kind of lean on. We were pretty awful at most positions, but Minshew and the offense were so. We had Chark back, which I guess was supposed to be nice, but he wasn't even the one that Keelan Cole was the one that actually showed out, which was nice to see. He's been doing well this season. Our offense just isn't. It's struggling, and I think that's one of our. I mean, we have weaknesses everywhere. I could go on all day about all of our weaknesses. We just have to do better, and I know that's not much. There's not much to that, but I mean, there's just not much to this team, So, I know a lot of people were saying hand the ball off to Robinson, but you see, I think he had he ended up with 29 yards, I think, at the end of the game. And this was against the 32nd ranked run defense. We couldn't even do that. And
I think there's something to be said about that too, though. Like, because you almost don't want to beat him up on a year that like, you know what I mean? Like, why ruin him already? You don't want to be like the Titans, who they only have Derrick Henry to. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting about that is
Chenault looked really good. He looks really good.
Chenault, I think he's promising. And then our defense, I think we're really, really, really missing Josh Allen. He's missed 2 games, and he's still leading most of the statistics on the defensive line. That's 2 games out, and he's still one of our leading defenders on the line.
Now, so Matt, have you been on the podcast when we've talked about the offensive line?
Mm-mm.
What is your take on the offensive line? Because there's mixed reviews about it. And my opinion with the Jaguars is the reason why Gardner Minshew looks as terrible as he does is because he has to scramble out of the pocket, and he looks terrible because he looks like he's holding on to the ball too long because he doesn't have any faith in his line. What is your take on that?
It's a mixed bag. I think we have a lot of cotton. That's one of our few positions where we have a little bit of continuity coming in from the previous years. I thought we had a pretty solid line at the beginning here. I mean, we had a great first week, so everyone looked great. But I think as the season's gone on, I think it's been a mixed bag. I don't think they're the entire reason. Minshew's been the reason he's not performing well. I think he's hitting that sophomore slump that everyone fears. He's kind of fallen back to some of the bad traits that he had last year that we thought he improved on. I mean, I think he had that sack fumble yesterday, and that's what we saw a lot of last year. So, I think it's a little bit of the line and a little bit of Minshew. I don't want to put it all on the line because I think they are all right, middle of the pack. That's my take.
So just real quick here, and I just want to call this out, right? Josh Douglas was saying it's crazy. Jags looked kind of good out of the gate, super surprised, and it just took a turn for the worse. Here's the thing about, and again, we go back to saying, talk about division games. Division games don't always tell the full story, right?
Oh God, here we go.
Divisional games are always played. The Raiders just beat the Chiefs last week. Like, seriously, are we going to say the Raiders are Super Bowl champions?
Raiders beat the Saints.
Raiders are a good team, though.
I'm not saying they're bad. No. I'm not saying like they're bad, but I'm just saying.
I get what you're saying.
I get what you're saying.
The point being is we can't just take division games for face value because it doesn't really tell you the true story. The Dolphins do y'all remember the year the Dolphins beat the Patriots and the Patriots were like the number 1 seed in the league? Like,
can I argue
all the time?
Can I argue?
Patriots struggle in Miami every year. This is not a one-time thing.
Rebuttal. I think it's the opposite in the fact that it shows you, for example, myself included, did not think that the Jaguars were going to win that first game. So
it doesn't matter whether you think they do or not, though.
Hold on. So maybe it didn't show so much that the Jaguars are an elite team that they showed out game one as much as it showed that the Colts weren't the elite team everybody thought they were going to be this season.
Or fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I thought the Colts were going to knock it out of the water.
So did I.
But the thing being is the Colts haven't won in Jacksonville in 10 years. Like, so should we be surprised that they lost in Jacksonville? Maybe. It doesn't matter how bad the Jacksonville Jaguars are. The Colts have always struggled in Jacksonville. They struggled in Jacksonville when Peyton Manning was the quarterback. This isn't a new thing. I
know what you're saying. You're saying that like when division teams, because they play so often, there's enough familiarity there that they are often tighter than it would be if you didn't play twice a year already.
Yeah, I mean, fair example. Forget the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Texans are 1-5, and they took the Titans to overtime yesterday.
They should have won yesterday.
Yeah, but I also think that there's
The point being, these division games don't really tell the full story.
But there's something to be said about them, though, on the other hand, because even if you're not a Super Bowl caliber team, you're fighting in your division to be top of your division. So you want to win division games. Because if
why they're always
was true, you wouldn't try as hard. And I said from the get-go that the Jaguars...
It's not about effort. It's not about effort. It's just because you guys are so...
Yeah, X's and O's.
I always said that the Jaguars were going to come out of the gate because everybody was like, oh, they're tanking, without even playing a game. And I said the Jaguars are going to come out the gate strong, and they did.
Well, because they played the two best teams in the division. And of course they were going to come out strong.
The players aren't trying to lose.
Yeah. And my survivor pick just went down the drain that first game. So
I'm sorry about that.
Yours too, Harish.
My goal in the whole league was to pick whoever the Jags were playing. So I was like, all right, boom, it's easy.
It's easy money. Right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing, though, right? Like, I didn't expect the Jaguars to beat the Colts at all. But at the same time, am I surprised? I was shocked that it happened. But it wouldn't have also shocked me that it doesn't shock me that it did happen because we haven't won there in forever. Like, and you know what? Week 17, we're going to go out and beat the Jags by 40, and it's going to all make sense again because that's just what we do to Jacksonville at home. We beat them at home, and we look like shit on the road. I don't know why. I don't know what it is about Jacksonville. I just don't know. I don't know. I just don't feel like division games really tell the full story, especially when you play a team twice in 4 weeks. Like, we're all going to play each other here in a couple weeks. I mean, we play the Texans and Titans 4 times in 6 weeks after the bye. So would it surprise me that we split all 4 of those games? Not at all, because there's too much.
I'd be surprised if there was a sweep in any of them.
Exactly.
Harish, while you're on this tangent, justifying why you guys lost to the Jaguars for the past 6
weeks
minutes.
ago. Yeah.
Go ahead and tell us about the Bengals that you guys barely beat. You scraped by, won the game. Let's hear your takes on that game.
Hold on, Harish. Before you get in there, we have a comment from Bob Jones. He said that Nick Fuentes looks great as your background.
Oh, goggles? Hey,
yeah, he's gone Nick Fuentes goggles.
Yo, hey, don't worry about the best kicker in the division, okay? Don't worry about him. I mean, that was such a weird game. Like, I really don't know what to say, right? You go down 21-0 to the freaking Bengals. Offense looks like crap. Defense looks like crap. And it's like, well, here we go. We're going to lose to a bad team again. That's kind of what Frank Reich does. And then there was the drive that Trey Burton scores on with the short field, just kind of like snaps in the finger, and Phillip Rivers, I don't know where he's been all year, but all of a sudden he's the Phillip Rivers of old. Granted, it's the Bengals, right? Let me say a couple things about this offense, right? As a Colts fan, was it nice? Do I understand that we just, Phillip Rivers had a great game against the Bengals? Absolutely understand it, right? But looking at this offense all year and then seeing that there's what seems to be a light at the end of the tunnel heading into the bye week gave me, promise. It made me say there is a possibility that there could be something there.
So let me say something before you go on more. You said it's the Bengals now off. Look, I've been saying from the get-go since they got Joe Burrow, that offense could be legit if they can protect. I mean, Joe Burrow is no slouch. He proved that to y'all. I mean, that first half, Joe Burrow was on fire. AJ Green finally showed up. Joe Mixon was running the ball. To me, I think that loss for the Bengals falls on the coaching and the Colts catching fire. I mean, this straight,
I found something really interesting yesterday about the Bengals defense, though. They're actually like third in the league on big plays given up, and or something along. Their secondary is actually pretty darn good. I found something like that. But here's the thing, though. The defense, again, played an awful first half, but showed up and played a phenomenal second half. Joe Burrow couldn't do anything the second half. Actually, they only scored 3 points the entire second half.
I think you've got a great defense. I don't think anybody would ever legitimately question how good your defense is. It's seems to be the only defense in the NFL that actually is playing pretty solid.
What's scary though is the last 2 games they've played great in the second half.
Right.
If the defense and I'm just going to throw this out there. If the defense plays poorly in the first half against the Titans or the Ravens or the Packers, they're not going to get an opportunity to come back in the second half and shut it down. Right?
Well, how secure are you with Phillip Rivers? Because, throw out the Bengals game. It's been a little scary, hasn't it been? I see some really scary passes.
Yes. There's a couple other things though, right? Is it concerning that Phillip Rivers has not performed well at all? Yes, but I think there's some other things to this as well. I've been a Marlon Mack hater. I don't think he's good for us. I didn't think he was good for us. I miss the guy so much right now. I miss his vision. I miss his ability to see holes. I go back and watch tape and I see Jonathan Taylor. Although I think he's going to be great, I still think his rookie phase is still in there, right? And he got a little bit better on Sunday, which was interesting. He's not seeing the holes that are there. In the running.
Speaking of Phillip Rivers, we have a comment from the group. Josh Douglas says, Phillip Rivers is like the Toby Keith song, I ain't as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was.
Yes.
That was a really
I can't
long
disagree with that,
moments,
right? Yeah, I can. So, and then, again, we can't stay healthy at receiver. It's been a problem all year. Marcus Johnson, thank God for him. Thank you. Hook 'em horns, baby. Marcus Johnson is a beast. And we need to stop putting him on the practice squad.
Everybody goes after Rivers because of his age and the way he's throwing. You go back to those Chargers games, he does the same thing. He throws the ball up, even in his prime. He throws the ball where he's sitting to throw it. He just takes chances.
That's what he does.
Yeah, but he was a little bit more accurate in the Chargers games.
Was he?
I'm just saying, it feels a little more off. That ball feels a little more wobbly.
He still came close of leading the NFL almost every year. Go back and look. He almost led the NFL in interceptions his whole career.
Yeah, he had some bad years. Yeah, he likes to shot put that ball out there, but that was really more my question is how good do you feel, Harish, with Phillip Rivers, or would you rather have Brissett in there?
Absolutely not. I would absolutely not rather have Jacoby Brissett. If Jacoby Brissett plays that game yesterday and we're down 21-0, we're losing by 50. I honestly believe that. And this is the reason why. Phillip Rivers continues to take chances. He's going to. Jacoby Brissett, if we're down 21-0, he's going to throw 5-yard drag routes, little slant routes, and then we're going to have 15-play drives that we end up punting on. So it's not going to get us anywhere, right? Jacoby Brissett is a limited quarterback. I'm tired of Colts fans saying, just start Brissett. Our best chance of winning is still with Rivers, and I 100% believe that.
You guys have anything in Eason?
I don't want to see. I don't think I think Eason could be great. further down the line. I don't think he's ready. He's not the guy that you want to throw into you don't want to throw into the fire. I think if they continue to develop Eason to me has the potential that I thought Josh Allen has right now. Josh Allen 4 years ago when he got drafted, he's basically the dude has a great arm. He can flick the ball 7 million yards, but he has zero accuracy. Josh Allen looks phenomenal right now. I think Eason has that potential, but because he has a crazy good arm and he can make throws that people they've said that they haven't seen from a lot of quarterbacks, right? But I'm not willing to say, you know what, just throw him in there. If we were 0-6, absolutely, let's just see what he got. Why not, right? But we're not. That's the thing.
A couple comments. Not surprised Jax owns us. They beat us 6-0 with luck playing. That was the only loss that they had. Big run up to the playoffs in 2018. Burrow is legit, poor guy. Phillip Rivers is like okay, we already read that one. Good thing Colts have the number 1 defense. Mac is decent. The people who compared him to Henry all last year are laughable, but he aight. 100% agree. Rivers is an upgrade from Brissett. No argument. And then actually he was comparable for a little while, but Henry has clearly run away from him and he can stay healthy, something Matt can't do as we see. And then no, Josh Allen looked like crap today and he looked like crap Tuesday. Not accurate enough.
No. He looked really good against the Titans. There, he had one bad throw.
They're talking about today against the Chiefs. He looked
shaky.
He said he looked bad last week too.
No,
and I said, no, he looked good against the Titans.
Yeah, but I'm still going to stand behind it. Do I think Phillip Rivers can win the division with this team? Absolutely.
So,
absolutely, I think he can.
So I've been reading a lot of trade rumors, and the biggest one that everybody is agreeing with.
Matt Ryan?
No, Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold. Oh.
What do you think?
If the Jets go 0-16 and draft and they draft Trevor Lawrence, I want Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold makes this team a Super Bowl contender. Sam Darnold is that good.
Okay.
You have to understand, go back and look at the tape on Sam Darnold. With as crappy as his offensive line has been, look at how many sacks that dude avoids and gets extra time. You get Sam Darnold and you go get one good wide receiver that's a great route runner, this offense is going to take away. This offense will complete this team. Sam Darnold, I would 100% trade for Sam.
I felt so bad for
a quarterback, though.
Huh?
You do think that quarterback is the biggest weakness? Is that what you're?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
If you look at our secondary, we lead the league in interceptions. The defensive line is phenomenal, and we get our best pass rusher back in 2 weeks. Who, by the way, harassed Mahomes last year before he broke his foot. We get Kimiko Toure. People forgot about Kimiko Toure, and I'm so excited. Nobody's planned for him. DeForest Buckner is going to help Kimiko Toure so much, and I'm so excited. And we get our best linebacker back.
Well, I was just going to mention that I felt before we segue into the rivalry game, felt bad for Sam Darnold last year because the game where he said he was seeing ghosts, the Jaguars the following week played them and decided to troll him by playing Ghostbusters theme song, and our mascot walked around in a ghost sheet.
Yeah.
And it was bad. I actually felt bad for him, even as a Jags fan. I was like, oof, they took it up way to the extreme. But
I'm comfortable with saying this defense will carry this team. Now, they can't get off to the bad starts that they had the last couple of weeks, but the second halves they played the last 2 weeks, if that's the defense we get the rest of the way, this team could still win a lot of games.
So what you're saying is the Colts are the 2017 Jaguars?
No, I would think it can be, maybe. I don't know. I mean, Philip, again, and the one here,
mediocre quarterback, mediocre quarterback, number one defense that carries the team.
Blake Bortles was not mediocre. He was god awful.
Mediocre at best.
There's one other thing. Phillip Rivers did well yesterday. He hasn't done all year, and he stepped into a lot of his throws. And he hadn't been able to do that all year. I don't know why.
Especially that one to Burton for the touchdown. He
lasered that in. He made some excellent throws. There were some throws to the sideline that he stepped into and got the ball. So can he still do it? Yeah. Can he do it 40 times? Absolutely not. And we cannot let that happen. If we need Philip Rivers to throw 25 times, absolutely. I think Philip Rivers.
But I imagine the plan was always that he was a placeholder.
Oh yeah. I know he's a placeholder.
He knows he's a placeholder.
But I also know that I believe in the rest of this team to still win this division. I think this roster is as good as the Texans roster or the Titans roster outside of Philip Rivers. I could put this roster toe-to-toe with the Titans roster and say I'm 100% confident it's as good as, if not better, especially at depth. Just go look at the linebackers and the defensive line. Right there, the offensive line, the linebackers, the defensive line, the running backs.
I might take my skill position players over yours.
I would take your wide receivers, but I wouldn't take your running backs. After Derrick Henry, who do you have?
Okay.
McNichols has actually been decent.
Let me pause you.
I'd still take my running back.
Let me pause you guys there so we could segue into it's rivalry week. As much as we like listening to you justify the Colts, Harish. Oh, Harish, poor Harish.
I don't need to justify. We're 4-2. Y'all are 1-6. Have fun. I'm going on mute.
You know the difference between me and you, though, Harish?
You know you suck, and I know we're actually halfway decent.
I always knew that we were gonna suck.
You know what's better than 4-2? 5-0.
Oh, good job, John.
Yeah, hey, good job being 5-0 after getting a 2-week holiday.
Yeah!
All right, well, so, of course, we know this week, Texans-Titans, close game. Once again, my theory is correct on this game. Maybe some division games show you that you're not as good as you think you are. John?
This game was the Buffalo Bill game. Every game that the Titans have had has been very similar to the other ones. Is the offense is clicking and the defense is not. Every game we've had is that story. I'm the exact opposite of Harish's Colts, whereas I believe in my offense to carry this team. This defense is going to kill us.
But y'all got Clavion Clowney. Let's go. Defense, number one defense. Clowney.
Trust me, there's nothing I love more than to watch him get blocked perfectly on every play. It's so fun. It's so fun to watch.
How much of an impact is Lawan being gone going to have on your offense, though?
I would be worried about it if he didn't get hurt every game. I mean, he either gets hurt every game or he gets ejected. So we always kind of have to figure out how to, substitute him in. So I'm not necessarily that worried.
So if I was you, I would be worried because you got TJ Watt, who's going to just eat your line up.
The Pittsburgh game already marking up as a loss. I've never expected to win the Pittsburgh game.
You got Leonard coming back and Toure. I mean, y'all got something.
Y'all are gonna have we're gonna
get killed. We're gonna lose.
4 out of your next 6 games are against good defensive lines.
I expected, but like before the COVID thing, I said when we started, so we had the Broncos, Jacksonville, and Minnesota game. I said, okay, we're about to drop the next 3. We're going to go into our bye 3-3. Now they've exceeded my expectations with Buffalo immensely. Like I couldn't believe that we were able to win so defiantly. Especially with
but you
Josh
had
Allen.
2 weeks to prepare for that game.
Even if you look at that game, the way that Bills were moving the ball was very effective. They were converting third downs like you would not believe, right? They weren't doing anything that they don't already do. Like even with the time off, they looked exactly the same. The only difference was the Bills weren't getting the points.
I'm not taking anything away from the Bills game at all because y'all killed them. But I think the Bills was looking one game ahead of you.
They could have been, but even if
Titans
you watched the
or
game,
Chiefs, which game are you gonna focus on?
I think what was it? I think with the Bills, they were like 11 for 14 on third down conversions. Like they moved the ball very well. They just never got points out of it, and that was the difference makers. I think that maybe there was like Josh Allen had one bad throw, which was that Malcolm Butler pick, the second one. Yeah. And that just kind of like killed the game. And I think the Bills may have kind of given up a little bit after that. But the Bills game and the Texans game were very similar. The only difference was the Texans were actually getting those touchdowns. They were getting those points. there's nothing different in any of our games other than like the point of, or the margin of error in the Bills game. That's the only reason why it looks like an outlier, is because the Bills just didn't punch it in. All the other games are very close.
John,
high scoring. Yo, go ahead.
Matt, because we do have a Texans commentator here, so I have to cut you off there. Matt.
What up?
What's your take on the Titans-Texans game?
If we had a somewhat of a rush defense, we probably would have won that game easily. But Derrick Henry did Derrick Henry things and run 200
If you kick a point after, you win that game.
Specifically a 94-yard touchdown run.
Right, exactly. I mean, you Jags fans should know how that feels. I mean, it's terrible. But I don't know why Bill O'Brien Jr. and Romeo Crennel go for two.
Senior.
All you got to do is kick the field goal, win the game.
Yeah.
I mean,
just kick the extra point. Yeah.
It's easier to kick a field goal than it is to do a 2-point conversion. I get it. If they converted, game's over. I get it.
Right.
But you have to say the same thing about the Titans.
You have to make us go for two. Yeah.
Right. So if you kick the field goal, Titans have to do a 2-point conversion. It's not easy as everybody thinks. It's pretty difficult.
That was so weird.
But the Deshaun Watson, he looked good. I mean, he looked real good. I'm really still concerned about David Johnson. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if it's Fulton and Howard not doing their blocks, helping him running. But I mean, Watson's looking like the best. Well, Tannehill's looking like the best quarterback in the division.
I was going to say, Tannehill looks pretty darn good.
But
he's playing great right now.
But he's not being held back. Like me and Dylan both have said this. With O'Brien, it looked like he was staring down one receiver and not getting rid of the ball. Now he don't have Bill O'Brien. He's getting the ball out. Like last week, Brandon Cooks had a monster day. This week, Will Fuller had a monster day. So he's finding different receivers, which is great. So I mean, there's that aspect.
They're heading in the right direction.
Exactly. Now, if we get a good head coach like Eric Bieniemy, where he's a fast-paced, get the ball quick type of offense, that'd be great. I'm really hoping, and we got rid of Bill O'Brien, so any game from now on is a win to me. I don't care as long as we got rid of Bill O'Brien. Like, let's go. And then my Cardinals are whooping the Cowboys. I'm in heaven right now. I'm in heaven.
Oh man.
But yeah, we kind of gave you all that game away.
I didn't understand that call. That doesn't make sense.
I do have something to say about these trash ass Texans fans, though. Mm-hmm. Everybody's calling for J.J. Watt to be traded. Why? Defense is already trash.
That's fine. I'll take him.
Right.
Me personally.
Why you want to get rid of a guy who he helped?
Would you put him on the field?
He helped you almost win that game. If he didn't strip sack Tannehill, then
he was making a real impact. He had a real impact on that game.
He stopped Henry twice behind the line. Who does that by himself? Who does that?
There's something to be said, too, about him pretty much being the player that helped facilitate the firing of the man that ruined your team.
Exactly. So why get rid of him?
There's going to be some sort of morale loss when you have these impeccable players, and then you get rid of one of the best wide receivers in the league, and you just completely,
as of right
team to the ground.
Right, I agree. As of right now, Washington's going to be in the future, guaranteed. But as of right now, he's your face of the franchise. He's on your Subway commercials. He's on your Domino's commercials. He's your guy. So why get rid of your guy because you don't like him? I mean, yeah, he can't stay healthy. That's why you're not going to get anything for him in the draft picks. Like, I get it. We need draft picks. But if you can't get a first or second, don't get rid of him. And that's exactly what you're not going to get. You're not going to get a first or second. You're going to get a fourth or a fifth. We're not the Jaguars. Why trade away your best defensive end for a fifth-round draft pick?
All they need to do is, they were dumb for getting rid of DJ Reader because he was there. Isn't the hole that Henry ran through yesterday right where DJ Reader usually is?
Yeah, my thing on that is I don't know why they're not putting Hall PJ Hall in that middle spot instead of Brandon Dunn. Brandon Dunn is complete trash. I think if Hall was in the middle and somebody else on that other side, I think we wouldn't have slowed him down because our linebackers are trash and he would still have a heyday. But I think that would be because we need a big fatty. That's what a 3-4 defense is you have a big fatty in the middle of the line to fill that gap and have JJ Watt or somebody else, That's why Vince Wilfork was so great on that defense because he fit that gap because he's 400 pounds. I mean, the dude was a beast. So
that's what you need in a defense like that. But again, it goes to show, kind of like what I was telling you guys before, just talking about earlier. Tennessee has yet to face a great defensive line. They faced great players. They haven't played a great defensive line. The Steelers' defensive line with Casey Hayward, TJ Watt is going to be nasty.
Is Bush out?
Devin Bush is out, but they still have a solid front seven.
Look,
hold on. Before you get into that, Michael Tesmer asked, would Hopkins still be with the team if B.O.B. is fired after last season? Yeah, you don't trade.
Yeah.
You don't trade your best receiver.
Yeah.
But go ahead. My bad.
No, sorry. We're talking about facing a tough defense. I agree. I don't think we've faced players for me. Look, my expectation, my hope is to win a division or make the playoffs. And I think we have a roster to do that. I don't have Super Bowl delusions. I think some people might be trying to talk.
You're one of the few that don't have.
I don't.
Where do you think? Where do you think y'all finish then?
Okay, see, I think we can win the division. I think that is a realistic expectation. Do I think we could go on a run like we did last year in the playoffs? I don't think so. I think right now I can think of 5 teams right now off the top of my head that are better. I don't think we're better than Kansas City. I don't think we're better than Baltimore. I don't think we're better than Pittsburgh. I don't think that we're better than Green Bay if you're going to go to the NFC. I don't think that we're better than New Orleans. There's 5 right there. I don't think
you're better than Cleveland either. I think Cleveland.
I don't know. Cleveland's a little Jekyll and Hyde. I don't trust Cleveland. I wouldn't bank on them. And we did beat the living crap out of them last year, but I don't know. I don't know where we're at. But until I get any kind of consistency on the defense, I don't have any kind of Super Bowl expectations. My highest expectation is to win a division and a playoff game, and I think that's where it ends. That's really all I can hope for, I think.
But what does that
the defense turns it around.
What does that look like to you? Is that 10-6, 11-5, 12-4? What is that?
I've got the schedule in front of me. I mean, I think because first of all, every game I think we're going to lose. So it's hard for me to say for sure, but I always get, we're not winning this one. We're not winning this one. So, I mean, I think we get Pittsburgh, we lose that one. I think Cincinnati's winnable. Will you guys, I know you guys hate Tennessee, but you think we could beat them, right?
I think you'll beat them.
Okay.
I think it's gonna be high scoring because your defense is god awful. I think Joe Burrow is gonna have a field.
It's Clowney.
Yeah.
I think Joe Burrow is gonna have a field day, and then it's gonna be a high scoring. I can easily see that being a 38-35 game.
Right, and that's kind of all our games has been really high scoring because it's the difference this year than in years past, and we saw it a little bit last year, but not quite to this extent. But is that game against the Texans last week, typically the team folds. Mike Mularkey teams would fold. Mike Munchak teams would fold. But Tennessee never really did give up, even when I said, oh, it's over, when they got the touchdown and then they went for 2. I was like, well, that's weird that they went for 2, but it's over. But this team never really did care or never did give up. They fought and gutted it out no matter what. Right. And that's something I haven't seen from this team.
That is the difference. And I think that speaks to Mike Vrabel, right? That's a Mike Vrabel changing culture kind of thing, right? Yeah, and I think and when they did it, what they did against Buffalo, and we'll throw away all the 2-week prepare. I was like, oh wow, okay, this Tennessee team is for real, right?
So,
and they're winning those.
There's a comment from the group, and then we'll need to
wrap it up.
Shut this down and fold out this podcast. But the comment
fold like the Jags.
The comment is, I think this year is Mitch Firkin's best chance to be able to stop redoing that tattoo. That's true.
Hey, before we do wrap it up, there was another comment. It said, "We went to the AFC Championship game last year. Now we're 5-0. Come on, bro. Have some faith. Cleveland, you delusional, Briggs. Look, you
If
barely
the
beat
defense
the
played
Colts.
like they did last year, I would have a little more faith.
You barely beat the Jaguars. You barely beat the Vikings. You barely beat us. Cleveland, the only reason why they got smashed is because they played the Steelers. I don't see it.
I do worry just a little bit because the secret is a little bit out. People were a little bit more distracted by Derrick Henry and not Ryan Tannehill, because Ryan Tannehill is carrying the offense. It is not Derrick Henry. It really is Ryan Tannehill. Derrick Henry's great, but it is Ryan Tannehill who's running through it. And I think people are going to start game planning for him a little bit more, which could be a problem.
It's gonna, and that's the thing,
Tannehill,
right?
or is it coaching? Like, come on.
Arthur. Oh God, no, brain fart. Our offensive coordinator, Arthur Smith. He needs a raise.
Like, that's not just Ryan Tannehill. Like, the whole offense as a whole is much better.
Yeah,
You don't
Incredible.
have to rely on
Khalif
Henry.
Raymond is having a remarkable year in Corey Davis's absence. Khalif Raymond.
for the first time in 20 years, I can finally say I'm excited to see a Colts defense against the Titans offense. We've never seen it. It's going to be.
It's usually the other way around. We usually have a pretty good defense. Yeah.
I'm extremely excited for this matchup.
I'm not.
I think it's.
I'm not.
I'm extremely excited.
I don't want it.
It'll give our secondary a test. It'll give our defensive line a test. It'll give our entire defense a test. I'm so excited for this matchup. We'll see what happens. I'm
You're the only one.
Well, guys, we thank you for tuning in this evening to the AFC South Fan Battle podcast. We encourage you to join us in the group on Facebook. That's where all the action happens. AFC South Fan Battle. And, of course, on the AFC South Fan Battle podcast page, that's where you'll find information about Sports Host and all the things that we talked about with internship and things like that. We appreciate See, I can't even talk. We appreciate you guys for tuning in, commenting, being there. If you have any suggestions for guests that you would like to, come on the podcast, questions for the future podcast that you want to send in ahead of time that you want to make sure it gets on here, make sure you send them to one of us, and we will make sure that we get them on here. We thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. You guys aren't even going to say bye?
Later, guys.
Oh, it's just rude.
We love you. Not really.
Jeez. So rude, these guys. Can you give
we're
us some
dicks.
extra